Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's J-Man. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm J-Man.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
And once again, we turn to current events to read some news.
I love current events. If it weren't for this show, I wouldn't have any current events.
That's sad. You have a fucking smartphone in your pockets at almost all times.
It's for Facebook and YouTube.
That's sad. So here's the story. Zooming down the highway past a radar speed sign can serve as a reminder you're going a little too hard on the gas pedal. But it can also get your license plate number siphoned into a massive data dragnet used by the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. A new report in Quartz, whatever the fuck that is, details an extensive new government contract between the DEA and RU2 Systems, a manufacturer of radar speed display trailers, and other contractors based in California, Virginia, and Canada. So right out of the gate, let's point that out. An extensive new government contract between the DEA and the people that make these fucking things.
Nah, don't make all of them, but that's one of the makers, yeah.
Well, conflict of interest. The machines use light-emitting diodes to show your mile per hour on the highway. But the DEA's new hardware isn't the mere purchase for the sake of traffic safety. The machines will be retrofitted as mobile ALPR, license plate reader platforms, meant to target vehicles implicated in crimes, per the Justice Department's disclosure.
Wow.
So this is a measure to try to curb drug trafficking. They're going to look at license plates of cars they suspect in drug trafficking, and then, it'll capture a shot of them and hold that data for God knows how long and store it they don't know where, and it'll be a bitch to actually get it if you're the public to find out what they're doing with it. And to me, this just feels like it's got a Minority Report mindset to it.
Kind of. It sounds like it's just like a base for them to jump off to do the other stuff. Who's to say they're not going to say this for other things? Granted, I don't know, it could be kind of useful, but now it's starting to kind of bug me that they're going to hang on to data of me, like I drive past a local school. Now they've got my license plate and where I was at what time in a database somewhere.
Right. And nobody wants to feel like you're being followed and fucking kept tabs on.
No, I don't.
So it seems a number of states have already gone against the grain and said they want nothing to do with these fucking things just because of the implications of people
please let
suing.
The state be one of them.
So there's already a robust network of local police forces using the technology, not to mention a for-profit industry undergirding its use. Vigilant Solutions, a manufacturer of law enforcement tools, boasted in a 2015 press release that its technology enabled 3 billion historical LPR scans and over 100 million new LPR scans monthly.
Where are they storing all this data?
Why do they need all this shit? Whatever happened to just fucking driving next to a car and seeing if they look suspicious and waiting for them to do something that's worthy of pulling them over? Like, you look for the cars that you suspect to be the indiscriminate shitty ones with two people riding in them with an out-of-state license plate, and they look fucking nervous as soon as you pull up alongside them.
Yeah. Well, this just seems like they could use it like, okay, let's say I actually did speed to that school zone. I mean, assuming this camera is only even active while that it's driver feedback is what we call them in my industry. The driver feedback is on. Is that camera going to be on only at that time, or is it going to be on all the time? Because it seems to me that those things are only on for about a half hour each day.
Yeah.
So it's 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, depending on the traffic and everything. It's different for each school zone. So, unless they had it running 24 hours a day, it's going to be kind of a useless system. So my assumption is they're going to be running it all the time. And if I'm caught speeding through there, even though the driver feedback's not on, that radar could be activated. And it could be like, oh, this guy's speeding. Well, we know this license plate. We know this vehicle. We know their registration because I'm registered to the state, obviously. Let's go give him a ticket once he gets home.
I don't know if it's quite that way as much as like the
it seems like a good
photograph-based ones that they have more out east. The red light cameras.
Well, they used to have those in Minneapolis, too.
But a lot of places just said, enough of this shit. The enforcement's too wonky. They aren't calibrated often enough. And too many people are complaining and taking it to court to get out of these fines that it's not worth the headache of having to use the court costs and the time and resources to fight all these.
How many people are fighting them, though? I know some people were, but Is it enough in this instance? If only 1 out of 5 people fight it, might be worth it.
Well, but I think the majority of the public just feels like things like that are used to make money, not to enforce laws.
I don't think they make near as much money off of issuing the fines, as they spent on all that equipment.
True.
This equipment is incredibly expensive.
Possibly. But I think the public would be more trusting of the intention behind it if instead of cash fines that you pay to the courts, they had strikes against your driver's license. You're still getting an infraction. You're not paying a fine. You're incurring a strike. And after 3 strikes, you lose your license. See, that in and of itself is an enforcement system towards which they really had the mindset in the beginning. But then you throw money into it. It's just like how cops are encouraged to stop cars, but there's no official quota system. You have to look like you're busy, so you're doing traffic enforcement in your downtime, waiting for a call.
See, to me, that's the totally legit thing. I don't think the strikes against your driver's license and then you lose it after 3, 4, 5 strikes, whatever.
5? Jesus Christ. What are we playing, cricket?
Just throwing numbers out there.
I don't know how many strikes are on cricket.
You got to know what a crumpet is to know what cricket is.
I'm not from India.
It's also in England, isn't it?
I don't fucking know.
No. Anyway.
Now I just want to talk about Dalzim from Street Fighter. Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
But I don't think that's as much a deterrent as someone having to actually pay money. How many people drive around without a license? They're giving licenses to illegal immigrants. They're not even supposed to fucking be here, and they get a driver's license.
And then they hit people, and they don't have insurance, and they permanently fuck people's lives up by injuring them.
Or killing them when, drunk driving and shit.
And they just say, oh, this illegal alien had gotten a license and hit somebody driving without insurance.
Well, I guess this is right. Here's an illegal alien. What the fuck ever.
Not that I'm trying to get into an immigration debate, but I just want you to know that I sat in on a Hennepin County courtroom a few months ago, and there was this Mexican guy that was going before the judge for driving without insurance. Mm-hmm. And first off, he had no fucking idea what was going on. He needed a Spanish interpreter, and the interpreter didn't know how to do things very well because he kept talking to the guy, and the judge's like, no. Now you have to tell me what you just said to him. And he's like, well, I said this. She's like, now tell him what I just said. Well, that's what I said. No, tell him what I just said. Judge had no patience. But here's the overarching theme.
I wouldn't have any either.
Here's why I brought this shit up. His defense to why he was driving without insurance and can't afford to go to jail for 10 days is that he has 3 jobs to support his family.
But you couldn't bother to learn English at any of these 3 jobs?
Or fucking buy insurance?
You had 3 fucking jobs. Insurance isn't that expensive. What kind of car was he driving? Did you find that out?
I didn't, but it was probably a piece of shit.
If it's a piece of shit, even better. It's cheaper insurance. God damn it.
It just proves the point. That people come here looking for a better way of life, and they don't follow the rules, and they think they can fly under the radar, and they're forced to subscribe to a system which they do not understand and apparently don't have the care to learn.
Well, because they're not forced to. You got the people on the left, the libtards and shit, saying, we don't have to they don't have to assimilate, they don't have to learn to speak English. It's a big melting pot of culture and shit. No, any society that does that is just bound to fucking go down in flames. Oh, shit, we kind of already are, aren't we?
Yeah, it's happening across the seas. They're over in England with all the trouble, and Germany, everywhere that's taken fucking asylum seekers, yeah. And there's all these sex crimes and violent crimes, all kinds of shit.
Sex crimes, violence that comes with these people because, I'm sorry, it's just not everybody in the world has the same values or system that we have. I mean, if I don't have a problem with immigrants coming here, if they kind of like look at our customs and everything and kind of conform to that, instead of coming here thinking, well, over in my country, I could beat my wife with a stick that was no bigger than my thumb. So I'm going to do that over here. No, that's called spousal abuse, you dumb motherfucker. You don't do that here.
Yeah, you use a belt. So this whole argument over these license plate storage devices. The Virginia Supreme Court recently, here in April, reopened a 2016 case concerning data pulled from LPRs by police. And according to the Conference of State Legislatures, 14 states have already clamped down on the LPR tech, passing statutes relating to the use of them or the retention of data collected by them. Arkansas, for instance, prohibits their use entirely.
I want to see your state say they don't do it.
So here's the real hit. Privacy advocates aren't enthused by the DEA's new directive. The Electronic Frontier Foundation lists a few of its grievances with the LPRs on its website, writing, LPR data can paint an intimate portrait of a driver's life and even chill First Amendment protected activity. LPR technology can be used to target drivers who visit sensitive places such as health centers, immigration clinics, gun shops, union halls, protests, or centers of religious worship.
I agree with the gun shop.
It kind of doubles down to the background check thing.
Yeah, they're going to know I was fucking there, but I don't need them having a picture of me going there.
The DEA did not respond to Quartz's multiple requests for comment, although former NYPD Detective Sergeant Joe Giacolone, something fucking Italian-y,
he's got a colon,
did explain the agency's rationale to the publication. We don't know when somebody's going to commit a crime. We don't know when somebody's going to run over somebody and take off. So the data should be there forever. We never know when we're going to need it.
That's kind of a weak-ass reason.
Right. We should store all the fucking license plates we want because we never know when we might have a picture of your car and then we run it through like this fucking CSI TV database style license plate matching software, and it shows you from one camera to this LPR data collection speedometer thingy from 6 years ago, and that's how we knew that you were the baby formula bandit, because you visited that one particular target at all the same times that somebody was stealing massive amounts of Enfamil, and now you've run over 6 Mexican kids at a bus stop. And right before Dios de la Muertos, no less.
Yeah.
I felt like you weren't sure how to respond to that one.
I didn't know how to respond to it, but I did know what you said.
So now I'll do what I like to do sometimes, and I'll flip the script. It's a wise idea to monitor these things, because if you have somebody that, say, speeds through a school zone frequently, but nobody ever gets the plate, but these devices capture the plate, and later on down the line, they catch the son of a bitch, hopefully before he runs somebody's kid over, or tries to blow past a bus that's stopped for kids to get out, and he goes by on the shoulder and almost clips a kid, or hits one. You know? They have the technology to store the data to track the person down. But it kind of feels like, how much fucking governance and data retention do we need? Like, how the NSA was storing all this aggregate Verizon cell phone data. Think about that one.
Yeah.
The NSA is storing just tons of information. What if they know how many dick pics I've sent in the last 10 years? I'm not saying I've sent like an obscene amount of dick pics, but I have sent dick pics to more than 5 recipients probably.
Oh, wow.
In the last 10 years.
1.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You're not doing it right. Sometimes you just send dick pics to random people.
Yeah.
Go, sorry.
That. Yeah, sorry, I dialed the wrong number.
P.S. What did you think?
Like, does it look good with the sweater, or should I take the sweater off?
No, you should always take the sweater off. Just shave it, baby bear. Give it to her nice and glidey. So anyways, have you seen machines like that up around these parts? I've seen a few of them that have that solar panel on the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're all over the county that I live in. So
I've seen them on I-35, obviously.
Well, you mean like the one like 35 going on to 10 going on to 35? There's that.
No, I mean 35 north riding through like the 694 interchange. There's one of them there, I believe. There was some sort of trailer that had a device that looked very similar to this, but it wasn't telling you your speed, but it clearly had multiple devices all added together with that solar panel and something that looked like a camera system.
That's
Who
one
knows?
of those things. They're using that for the highway system when they're telling you, there's a delay ahead, a 24-minute delay. Those machines are measuring the amount of traffic and how fast it's going by.
That's what they tell us they're for.
Those don't have cameras on them.
I hope not.
No, they don't.
But I wouldn't put it past them, would you?
I guess I wouldn't, but I mean, I've worked up close with those pieces of equipment before, and there's no cameras on them. They just have a communication system so they can communicate with each other. But the ones, at the driver feedbacks for school zones and stuff, it'd be easy to hide a camera in there. It would be really easy for it to take pictures, and it would have power 24 hours a day. But granted, in the wintertime, those solar panels don't always fully recharge the batteries.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the signals department goes out there and hooks generators up to them and recharges the batteries, and it usually will last several days after that.
You mean they don't just roll up in one of those city or county vehicles or MnDOT vehicles and just plug this thing into the cigarette lighter?
No.
And then rev the engine? It doesn't work like that?
They probably could, but no, it doesn't work that way.
I would fucking hope that it's more technologically advanced than that shit.
No, they just put a little generator out there, chain it up to the post, and leave.
The same technology we used to power your Sony Discman 20 years ago is what we now use to power traffic cameras that take pictures of your license plate to make sure that you're not a dirty Mexican sneaking heroin across the border. MnDOT. Sorry about that racist Mexican remark. It's probably how that PSA would go, I would think.
That would be perfect.
Right? How much of a fan of Tim Allen's Home Improvement were you?
I was a pretty decent fan. I didn't watch all of them, but I watched fair number of them.
Do you recall the episode where he got a ticket for running a red light without running a red light thanks to one of these traffic cameras?
Yes.
He's riding in a car with Jenny McCarthy.
Uh-huh.
He has to slam on the brakes. He instinctively puts his arm out to stop her from going forward. And then the picture looks like he's trying to grab a feel of her right tit. And his wife Jill's like, Tim, what's going on in this photo? He's like, I swear to God, it's not what it looks like.
I remember that. Ooh, Jenny McCarthy, yummy.
Well, Jenny McCarthy then.
Yeah, then.
Not Jenny McCarthy now.
No.
Jenny McCarthy now would be like climbing inside of a sleeping bag that your dad owned all the way back when he was in college.
She looks as used up as... What was that one chick from Baywatch?
Pamela Anderson.
Pamela Anderson.
Or Yasmin
Talk
Braith.
about somebody that did not age
Or Carmen
well.
Electra.
Ooh, Carmen
Just
Electra.
about any chick that wasn't Alexandra Paul, the short-haired, flat-chested one from Baywatch.
Yeah. No, I don't... Well, I haven't seen Carmen Electra in a while, but...
You don't want to.
She's gone bad, huh? Damn it.
I don't know. Would you want to sit on a beanbag that had a broken zipper? Because I imagine that's what she's like.
She had it all fixed up.
Oh, yeah. Like I'm saying. Fucking Jenny McCarthy, old sleeping bag. It smells musty. Yeah, it's comfortable when you climb inside. It keeps you warm, but like the zipper doesn't work all the way because there's loose strings from the frayed stitching.
Yeah.
And it gets stuck. Or there's holes in the material where it used to be like a scene of a deer walking by a mountain on the inside because this thing's from the 1970s.
Painting a really vivid picture here.
Aren't I? And we were talking about fucking license plate data storage
and we
technology.
went on to this. All right.
I told you, I'm done trying to keep it topical because it enhances the entertainment value for my ADHD to just kick into high gear when we're doing this.
I work better on a free flow pattern as well.
Yeah, so does your wife's period.
Well,
What?
She doesn't have one.
Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/ What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm J-Man.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
And that's the end.